guys? VZR, and we're going to be doing a $1,200 PC build, so let's get to it.
Going down the list, we're going to talk about some things about what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, what's practical, and
what's unpractical.
Yeah, see him over there, VZR is the more gamer side. I'm more of the technical side. So having both inputs, I thought was logical and made sense. So yeah, okay. So let's start with the CPU. Now on the other build, I did say something about using Skylake processors and how I personally wouldn't use it. Because it's not like the big enthusiast grade stuff.
You want to run more on the X99 platform because
it pushes more data, so you're able to do more things.
You have more
easily.
cores, you have more threads, you can run faster and better.
Yeah. So, but for gaming, you honestly don't really need much CPU horsepower. You can get away with a decent quad core that clocks relatively well and is relatively stable in whatever configuration you use it. So. And when you're spending more than $1,000 and you don't really have an i7, in my opinion, that's a little bit
Yeah, personally, for my build that I'm doing,
you're using this chip, right?
Yeah, we're gonna use the 6700K in my build whenever it does get built. Because 4 gigahertz, it overclocks to 4.4, and that's not even pushing it. I mean, if you do a cold air intake or not even a cold air intake.
If you put an AIO in it, you can get it up even higher, actually.
Yeah, you can go to 4.6, 4.7. I've watched a few videos where guys push it all the way to almost 4.9, which is like
a little dumb and a little crazy.
It's godlike almost. I mean, you get to 5. Holy crap! People are gonna poop themselves.
If you get up to 5 gigahertz, you can reach up and touch the hands of God.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not endorsing that, but that's okay. So I chose this core I chose this chip because I know it's going to work well. A lot of builders are heavily circulated around this chipset, so I know it was going to work well. Again, I've not personally used this chip, but it's an i7, it's from Intel, and it's a quad core, so that's good.
It's going to work. Intel backs their work. It's good quality.
Yeah, it's a lot better than AMD. Let's come on.
For sure.
All right, so now coolers. I went the same cooler as the last time. It's a single 140 rad. But it comes with 2 fans still, so you can do that push-pull configuration. It's a good fan in here. What's the RPMs on this? Sorry,
I think it's 3600, 3700.
No, it's actually 24. But 24. These fans push a ridiculous amount of air.
Yeah.
My father's rig has the larger version of this that comes with the same amount of fans, and they're fine, especially in this push-pull configuration. You're able to shove more air through that rad.
See, I disagree with you though. I'm the guy that
well, you want dual rads just to say you have dual rads.
Yeah, I want to boast and be like, dude, you have single rad? That's trash. No, I want double rad. So when I built mine, I went with the Corsair H105. I mean, it's the dual rad. It's 240 millimeters. It's huge. It's almost ridiculous, but your CPU is not going to be burning up. I mean, it's
not going to burn up with this cooler either.
Yeah, it won't.
This cooler will do just fine, but the other one, especially if you want to dabble in the overclocking realm.
I have double rads, then go with the H105.
Yeah, and if you want to do some more heavy-duty stuff on a regular basis, that's not strictly for gaming. Now, if you're gaming every day, like streaming every day, then you might want to look into a little bit bigger cooler. But if you're like this casual gamer or anything, you can get away with this cooler. Or a cheap air cooler, and you'd be fine.
I was like, if you have the 6700K, you don't plan on too much gaming, just simple games that don't pull a lot of graphics or stuff. You can honestly go with a Core Master Evo 12 or 1 of 12.
Oh yeah, that's like the legendary cheapo air cooler that works well.
It's $30. You can pick it up at Best Buy, for God's sakes. Like, I mean,
you can get them at Best Buy.
Yeah, you can get them at Best Buy. Dude, I saw it the other day.
Oh,
I was impressed.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was $47, but I mean, Fry's right now is boasting it at 40, so $7. But hell, you have to drive 30 minutes.
Well, yeah, but I'd rather buy high-end gear, really just any computer gear at Fry's than Best Buy any day. Now, if I'm buying like RAM, I don't really care. Or storage, dude, storage at Best Buy is cheap.
Storage is cheap. They have some really good Kingston drives. I actually bought one the other day. I need you to help me install it actually, or throw it in. Whatever. We'll do that. Yeah. Right now it's 120 by Kingston. I mean, I got a good deals on sales, only $32. So
actually, there's one of those in this build, but we'll get to that.
Oh, sweet.
So moving on, motherboard again is pretty much the exact same motherboard. Oh no, my Wi-Fi's going slow. There it goes. It's pretty much the same motherboard, except this one does not come with Wi-Fi, but there's a Wi-Fi PCI chip in there, so you're still gonna have actually faster Wi-Fi. Actually,
Awesome.
there's a Wi-Fi module in here, so you'll still have Wi-Fi. You just have to plug it in yourself. This board didn't come with one because this board didn't come with one.
Now, is this motherboard a dual SLI configuration, or is
Actually,
it
this is a full ATX motherboard, so it's actually got three
ATX.
16x slots in it. So in theory, you could have up to 3-way SLI, but again,
that's
I wouldn't really do that. 2-way is kind of my limit when it comes to stuff like that. But okay, so RAM, again, Corsair Vengeance LPX memory. It's good memory. It's relatively, actually, DDR4 is so cheap now. I remember when DDR4 came out, it was stupid
crazy.
Like this same kit, I built a rig on, or I built one out on paper here that used this exact kit. Right now it's like 40-ish bucks, $39.99 with 40 bucks.
Now I kind of want to disagree. I'm gonna say this here. I'm more of a Ripjaw fan. Like if you scale Ripjaw.
I mean, RAM is RAM, but
RAM is
I'm a
RAM,
Corsair guy.
but it can also go faster. Let's be honest here.
Well, gaming, the speed of RAM doesn't really do anything. The speed of RAM doesn't really do anything. Now, capacity of RAM, that kind of can contribute.
Now, why are you only running 8 gigs? Why didn't you do a 16 or 2x8?
That is an excellent question, because most games, especially right now, don't really use more than about 4 to 6 gigs of RAM at full usage. And also, as I explained in my other video, if you have a quad-core CPU, the rule of thumb for each core, physical core that you have about 2 gigs of RAM, because it uses about 1 1/4, 1 1/2 at its highest point. And if you get 2 for each, you won't be bottlenecked by your RAM. Now you can get more, and you can definitely fill up more. You can actually buy 2 of these kits and fill up in quad channel slots. So you have enough.
Now does this motherboard have enough room for all that?
Oh yeah, I think it's got 8 DIMMs in it, and this one's a 2 DIMM set, so you'll run in quad channel. But
you'll be fine.
I'd rather, if you can buy RAM in as many slots as you can, I would actually recommend that as the highest capacity that you could buy. Because if you run it in like dual channel or quad channel, there is some performance differences. But again, there's also a bit of a thing that if you buy and fill up all your slots, you want to upgrade later, that means you have to replace all those and buy more.
I'm gonna go ahead and butt in, and I'm gonna ask. Why instead of upgrading your Corsair fan so much, why didn't you just buy a regular fan and then go ahead and do a fan for your RAM so you can run your RAM cool?
A fan for the RAM?
Yeah, a fan for the RAM.
No, that sounds funny. Actually, this is low profile RAM, and really RAM does not get that hot. The 3 major components that generate heat are the CPU, your graphics card, and in some rare instances your motherboard. And really, you can actually put your hard drives in between your motherboard and that, because your hard drives spin up if you're using traditional drives and you're using them like crazy. Now, again, these are very, very low things here, but RAM doesn't really get that hot. Now, you can get some, like, even the Corsair Dominator Platinum series has heat fins in it, which actually look really cool. Yeah, I enjoy the look of that RAM. But you don't really need it, especially in this type of rig and in this scenario. Low profile, cheapo type RAM will get you by, and you'll do just fine.
Now I'm sure when we get to the case later, I'm sure the case has an easy push-pull configuration. So you're always
the case has some stuff. Now let's move on to storage in interest of time. So we're using that hard drive, that SSD we were talking about earlier. I actually I'm about to buy one of these for my laptop here because they're relatively cheap. It's fast, and it's an SSD. And in any rig, if you're gonna go above 900-ish bucks, go ahead and invest in an SSD as your boot drive, because they're faster, they're usually more reliable, and they're actually smaller. And since they're faster, and especially if you're loading like giant games, like from anything from Bethesda,
League of Legends,
or something like that,
Fallout.
When you're opening those large worlds, it's gotta load all that. And actually, on this computer that I have right now, it has a 7200 RPM drive, and every time it hits the loading page, my drive goes up to 100% usage because it's trying to do that. And so having an SSD as just your boot drive, even you can put like your major programs or like your favorite games that you're currently playing on that drive.
I agree.
You're gonna run just fine. Now for mass storage, a traditional drive is preferable.
Do just a regular hard drive. I mean, it's not gonna hurt. I mean,
either a terabyte or as much as you think you're gonna need, but as like the basis is an SSD of your capacity of choice, and then of than a
Yeah, and for some
traditional hard drive with
people,
the capacity of your choice.
I don't know about Josh, but for some people, I mean, if you're not going to be doing a lot of rendering and whatnot, you might just want to do 2 hard drives that are 60 gigs each, because you can store different things on those hard drives and allows it to open a lot faster, as he did say. 'Cause you
60
have,
gig SSDs? Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
What would you do with them? Like RAID them together?
yeah. You could rate them together, but they're still
Well,
going
that's
to be separate.
difficult. Not many people know how to RAID.
Oh,
So if
but
you
I
don't
mean,
know how to do that, go
it's
with
YouTube.
this.
You can
But if you
find a video.
do, you can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know where you can buy. I don't know where you can buy that. But
Fries.
anyways, well,
Fries does have them.
okay. Well, whatever. Now, video card. Now, it's actually you don't know how hard it is to pick a video card. You have no idea how hard it is to pick a video card, especially on any price point. It's hard. Whether it's
It's hard.
super
It is.
enthusiast or low budget, it's really hard, especially now because you can go almost any direction and you just be just fine. But I chose the EVGA 970. I'm actually probably going to end up putting 2 of these in Photon, which is my computer, instead of the WindForce ones, even though I really like the WindForce cooler from Gigabyte. But EVGA, we actually have 2 EVGA brand video cards in our rigs in our office over here, and they work like a champ. Now, granted,
Now,
some of them can be loud, and the little
yeah.
ACX cooler can be loud at some times, but dude,
Now,
they perform well.
I want to disagree with him. So I know some of the new games that are coming out. Who is it? Geez, I don't even know the name, but I know someone's coming out with the game right now that you need 6 gigs just to run the game. And personally, in my rig, I'm going to go with the MSI R9 390 gaming. It's roughly the same price.
Is it
but
the 6 gig thing that's their answer to the 970?
Yeah.
Which now we should, actually let's talk about VRAM now since we're talking about that. VRAM is basically RAM for your graphics processor.
Yeah, it's
chip.
for your graphics card. Yeah.
Basically, now graphics cards have become so big now that they're kind of like small computers in themselves. They have a CPU, they have their own cooler, their own RAM, and their own cache actually, which is. But VRAM is what that's for. And actually, for most 1080p titles, and if medium to ultra settings, yes, medium to ultra, so there's high in there. 2 gigabytes of VRAM, especially GDDR5, which is the current VRAM right now, you're gonna run just fine on almost any CPU. Almost any CPU. Now I say almost because you can get dirt cheap and have.
Now I've never played with the 970, but I have played with the 980 when my brother actually gave me one. But now, I mean, I don't even have a graphics card. I'm running off
Intel stuff right now.
It's trash. That's why I'm building a rig. Yeah, but no, when I had the 980, I don't know with the 970, but EVGA definitely puts out some good products. I'll be honest, they're super stable. The 980 was really quiet.
Yeah,
and
on my dad's 770, we were pushing Fallout 4 on 1080p at its ultra setting because he wanted to see how well it would run on his card, and we pushed an overclock of 20% on that card. 20% above its boost clock. Now, I don't remember the exact megahertz of what it was, but through Precision X on EVGA's utility, we got it up to 20% above, and I was actually blown away, which is really cool. But this graphics card is going to do you just fine, especially honestly, now and in the future.
You don't have to play games at stupid graphics. If you played it high and just go ahead and upgrade your frame rate and overclock it.
Yeah, you can boost your resolution on this card and still be okay because that 4 gigabytes of VRAM is going to allow more textures to be put in there, so you can increase your resolution and gain up your textures, and it's going to support it. It's going to do just fine. Now, Case, I found this BitPhoenix thing. I personally don't like BitPhoenix. This isn't since it's an ATX board. This is an ATX tower, but I really just chose an inexpensive ATX case. You can go with whatever you want. It's just that will factor into your budget.
Yeah, it factors into your budget. I mean, it's a $1,200 summer build. You got to count and keep it cheap. You have to suffer in some spots.
Yeah, you do have to. I mean, you can get one without a side panel and get it like $30 cheaper.
Case is a good way to.
That's actually a little bit dumb sometimes.
If anything, guys, if you want to have that side panel so everybody can see your rig, just take off your side panel and get some plexiglass from Home Depot and put it on there. It's jerry rig.
Hey, that's an idea. $20 of plexiglass.
Yeah, and there you go. Now your case looks like your golden boy $100 case, but in reality,
and it's custom, so you can be like, "Yo, I built that case."
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and all right, now power supply. Now, again, it's a little. There's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to your power supply, but really, I'm just gonna ask you to stay with this. and not really question it unless you want to question it
750
because
watts. It's plenty.
it's 750
For the
watts.
motherboard, your graphics card, the SSD, everything. You're
Actually,
not gonna,
with this graphics card, you
you're gonna
can
have plenty of
SLI your graphics cards with this. I'm sorry, with this power supply, you can SLI your graphics cards with this. And the reason why I got this is because if you wanted to upgrade your parts in the future, like buying a second card or putting in like a bigger graphics card in the future, or running just, I don't know, an obscene amount of fans, this power supply will support it, and you're gonna be just fine. All right, so now what's next on this list? Windows 10. If you don't have an operating system, you need Windows.
Why'd you go to with Windows 10? Why not Windows 7? I mean, a lot of people really like.
Well, because right now the current thing is Windows 10, so a lot more things are going to be supported quicker with Windows 10.
Okay, but everything's already supported by Windows 7 or Windows 8, though.
It can, but actually, like dollar per dollar, even though it's like marginally, Windows 10 is cheaper. But really, any Windows right now, Windows in general, just get a copy of Windows for your computer.
They're good deals.
I mean, we can debate about which OS is better, but it's Windows.
We'll be here all night if we do.
It's Windows. All right, and then you got a little Wi-Fi adapter, which this one is a pretty standard Wi-Fi. There actually is a little bit bigger one than this. It's a PCE N10, which is a standard 802.11 wireless card, but it's just PCI based, which means it'll be a little bit faster. So
is that internal or is it external?
No, it's internal. It plugs right into a 1X PCI slot, which on this motherboard, in this case, you just have to find a place where it can go.
Some people like the external dongles because it's easy to remove and you can just go anywhere with it.
You can buy a little USB dongle if you want to. Just plug it in the back or whatever you want.
They're going to run just as good. I
have
one by
it's about the same price. They're about the same price. Now, I chose that one because I would rather have a PCI-based one, in my opinion. Therefore, it's still in the box. It's not this giant USB dongle sticking out or something like that.
Mine's not that big. Mine's like 2 inches.
Well, that's 2 inches outside your case. And that's personal preference. But really, the reason why I got this because this motherboard doesn't have wireless on it. So, and most people use wireless these days. Now, if you're not using wireless and you have like an Ethernet port or a gigabit LAN port right next to you, sure, get yourself an Ethernet port and plug it in.
That?
Yeah, but not many people do. So, wireless. But if you're in a position that you're like, hey, I'm right next to the router, or hey, I'm right next to a LAN port, then plug it in. You're going to be fine. That's an extra $10 that you can spend somewhere else.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so that actually sums up our rig. So do you have any final thoughts, Devin, or you just...
Nah. Honestly, that's a pretty good $1,200 setup. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of any games off the top of my head that you won't be able to run with that. I mean, that's a summer build. You put in a few hours every week or go mow some lawns, watch some kids.
Save your allowance, your part-time job funds, stuff like that.
Easy. And honestly, I mean, some of your parents might not want to help, but I know my parents, like...
Yeah, you're buying your CPU right now, right?
Yeah, my parents are buying my CPU, so, I mean, hell, that saves me $350, $400. I mean, if I can...
Which goes into, I don't know, a second graphics card or something like that.
Second graphics card. Oh, yeah, I can easily...
Or a bigger graphics card. Like, I really would like a 980 Ti, but I'm getting two 970s. Why? Because they're actually a little bit less expensive.
You know what, Josh? Hey, on my build, let's go ahead and do two 970s.
If you want to do it, I can definitely put that together.
Let's go ahead and do the two 970s because I mean, hell, it's
there.
Not 8 gigs.
You can do it.
8 gigs, and it's just gonna run quicker and faster.
Yeah, well, that's debatable, but roughly the speed and specs of a 980 Ti is roughly about the same speed and specs of a two 970s, which sound a little bit daunting, but
you get the 970
that's what it is.
SSD, the super clock. Now, would that equal out to a 980 or no?
The reason why it says super clock on here, which is actually a great question, the reason why it says super clocked is because it comes factory overclocked to a certain level.
Now for the new guys that are building computers, is that dangerous at all?
No.
Lifespan?
It just means that the factory who produced these cards or remanufacture these cards, like since this, if you actually look up a reference 970, it doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like it. It looks like the standard NVIDIA thing. Now this one, EVGA, this is what's called a custom PCB and a custom cooler graphics card. Now if you see in the little corner on the box say ACX 2.0, that's the name of the cooler that you see with the two fans, little EVGA logo, little blue things on it. That's the name of the cooler. And they've actually taken the chip and taken this stuff, quiet dog, all stuff from the reference GPU and made their own PCB to fit either their cooler or to fit their enthusiast grade or whatever they want to do. So You can buy a reference card. They can sometimes be a little bit more expensive and be a little bit less underclocked.
But they're gonna run better.
The only difference between this one and a reference is factory overclock speed. Like let's say this one's at like 1200 megahertz base clock, and this one from EVGA is 1300 megahertz base clock. It just means the factory has clocked it differently than what the reference has. That's where the super clock comes in. That's where the extreme overclock stuff comes in.
Yeah.
Now, is that bad as a buyer? No.
No.
Now, what you can do to save some money sometimes, because usually when they factory overclock, they kind of put like that price premium stuff on it. It's like, hey, we clocked it up 50 megahertz, we can sell it for like 20 more bucks, and they'll do that. And they have the right to do that. It's still a service that they do, so they can do that. But if you know to overclock, and actually nowadays
just buy a regular one,
buy a normal chip and overclock to your heart's content, or overclock to where it's stable and you
feel safe. Yeah.
Alright guys, that actually kind of sums up our video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please comment if you have any questions for me and or Devin on his channel, VZR. Put a little thingy down there for you. Or if you just want to say hi, want to brag about computer building skills, or brag about your own rig. What you rocking? Rocking like a Intel graphics like my friend over here right now, or you're rocking a NVIDIA graphics card, or an AMD, which is fine.
Whatever your heart desires.
Whatever your heart desires. Alright guys,
leave a
I'll
comment
see you
about it.
later.
I'll see you guys later.
Bye.